Well, Tennessee put up a good fight, better than probably what most of us thought they were going to put up, historically speaking. But in the end, unfortunately, it just still wasn't enough against the Georgia Bulldogs. Tennessee loses the home game to Georgia 44-41 in a instant classic in overtime. Everyone, all the national media is saying that it was an instant classic, college football at its finest, SEC football at its finest. Man, what a game. I mean, even though it didn't go our way, what an absolute incredible game to watch.
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, obviously had to talk about this, man. Circumstances this week, I'm not able to be in the normal situation for this podcast that I would be, back at home. But had to hop on here so we can discuss this a little bit because, man, what a game! And if this is one of those games, man, where I talk about not being a fan, maybe of either team, and you just wanted to watch a good football game, you would have loved this game, man.
Yes.
Um, in the moment, I'm not gonna lie, absolute heartbreaker, dude.
Yep.
Um, it hurt. It did. I mean, as a fan, this is a game that hurt. Um, but having a couple days to kind of think on it and like be realistic, in the moment, you're just like, we lost another one to Georgia. We can't, I was frustrated, but at the same time, I think it was just because it was so close and we had them right. Um, on paper, a lot of things that could be good to come out of that is how close this game was. I mean, how our offense was clicking, um, and how we look overall. I felt like this looked like two playoff teams. Um, and I didn't know if we were at that level going into this game. So that's a positive I'm going to take because we showed, I think, that we're a playoff caliber team this year. Um, have to prove it going forward. We definitely have to win out or win other games and prove it. The margin for error is going to be a little bit less, but into the year rolls around, this is not a bad loss, in my opinion. I think Georgia, will continue to be good throughout the year.
Yep.
Um, Offensively, man, super impressed to see Joey, and especially in that first quarter was insane. That was wild. I knew it was going to slow down realistically at some point, but
Yeah.
he did have a couple picks, couple bad decisions, but overall, man, I think he showed he could play it. So because you heard that he ain't never faced a defense like Georgia, um, and things like that. Well, um, first time facing a defense like that, then I think he come out and showed he could play with them, and he belongs where he's at, man. So a lot of good things to take from it. Um,
Yep.
and I'll get back to you. We can let you discuss some of it, but I know you got some things you really want to touch on. Unfortunately, um, we were worried about the secondary and the things and with the injuries. That's the thing too. We had two injuries to key positions in the DB level.
Yeah.
Um, I know they threw all over us, but with some key injuries, man, and that was our game to win at the very end of that,
Yeah.
and so that's something that you have to like take on a positive note, I would think. But um, and we'll go back and forth here. One thing I just want, I did want to state, man, just you could tell the not to call him out specifically, but number 4 that was on a freshman dude that we had, he was getting targeted at the whole night, and they knew it. They had a
Yep.
freshman in there, and I would have liked to maybe some over the top help for him or something. He got put on the island a lot of times, and he
Yeah.
just wasn't ready for that moment as a freshman. And against a team like that. So that was tough to see. I mean, what is some of your key? There's a lot to discuss on this game, man. As crazy of a game as it was, but
Yeah. I mean, before I even get started, I would like to go ahead and just put this out there. In Kirby Smart's post game conference, press conference post game, he did say that, and this is him speaking, we should not have won that game. So,
yeah,
that just goes to show you the type of game that Tennessee put up. Um, thinking back to years past, we've never even scored more than 20. I don't even think we've scored 20 against Georgia since,
it's been a
dating.
while.
Yeah, it's been a long time, especially in the Heupel era. Heupel hasn't put 20 points up on Georgia. So to come out the gate swinging the way we did, like you said, man, Joey Aguilar looked like he was from a different planet in that first quarter. And you know, I don't think we ever had any doubts in Joey Aguilar, but I didn't know that it was going to be that level that
Yeah.
quickly. And I think it truly stunned Georgia's defense initially. You know, obviously there were key adjustments made on their end of the ball, but
Mhm.
I mean, Joey came out in the first quarter, what, 14 for 14, 200
Last year.
some, like 100 some yards, couple touchdowns. I mean, it was just otherworldly, man. I don't,
Yeah.
you know, I'm not going to sit here and hype him up too much, but I think he deserves some credit. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Um, but you know, looking at how the game played out, you know, everyone's going to point to Max Gilbert and say, you know, he missed the kick and all that good stuff, which, you know, he did. It is what it is. But something that I haven't heard many people talking about, and I have watched numerous episodes of different podcasts that talk about college football, and no one has mentioned this right here. And I think this is pretty interesting. And I think that this is the reason why Tennessee lost the game. So if you look at the first quarter, after the first quarter, Tennessee was up 21-7. Okay. Which we all know that.
Yeah.
Then we disappeared. And this is where we lost the game. From that moment on, we were outscored by Georgia 31-17. So you think about that flip. Obviously, there were some adjustments made before halftime and at
Yeah.
halftime that were just crucial, you know, played a crucial part in the reason why we weren't able to seal that one up. Um, you know, obviously this was a high scoring game. I didn't think that it was going to be that high scoring, to be honest with you. I mean,
Yeah.
the over under was like 50 and a half points. And I ain't gonna lie, I took the under just because I thought there were going to be a lot of defensive play here. I thought that both quarterbacks would probably struggle against each other a little bit. But you got to give, you know, obviously we gave Joey his flowers already. You got to give Gunnar Stockton some credit, man. I mean, he looked really good
Yeah.
against our defense. I think that whatever some of the questions that Georgia may have had and the media had against Georgia, I think some of those were answered, unfortunately, against us.
Yeah.
Um, but you know, that's just me giving credit where credit's due. I don't like Georgia by any means, but I do respect Kirby Smart and what he does down there. I think he's a class act for sure.
Yeah.
But you know, speaking on Joey again, real quick, you know, 24 for 36, 371 yards passing and four touchdown passes. I mean, if you would have told me that he did that before the game started, I would have probably told you that we won the game. You know,
Oh yeah.
with that type of quarterback performance, you rarely do lose a game with that. If I had to pinpoint, you know, and I'm sure we can dive into this together. I'm sure you have your thoughts on why we lost and all that. You know, aside from what I mentioned, the point change and the shift in the score there in the second and third quarters where Tennessee just did not show up whatsoever. Um, Here we are again, man. Same song and dance with the penalties, man.
Yeah.
Tennessee shot themselves in the foot 10 different times, racked up 82 yards worth of penalties, and some of those penalties were crucial, game changing, and pivotal moments in the game that really just, in my opinion, changed the course of the game. Honestly.
Yeah, man. I mean, and you know, me and you this last episode, I know we kind of got like the feeling where we did decide to predict Tennessee to win this one. Um, which I mean, dude, it was there. Like
Yeah.
we you know, we almost had it. But going into the preseason, you know, we predicted, unfortunately, we were right and predicted Georgia to win this game. But something we talked about was the penalties and the secondary. And man, that was it. That was my two main things I seen for losing. One thing that shocked me though, man, is that I didn't expect on our defensive side is there. I didn't feel like there was a ton of pressure on the quarterback, man.
Yeah.
Not saying that there wasn't any pressure, you know, it was there, but you know, like the way our defensive line and linebackers have been in some of the games, even in last year and stuff, just unbearable amount of pressure sometimes on quarterbacks.
Oh yeah.
Um, you know, and it would kind of make up for the safety play a little bit, you know, and but I don't know. I mean, at the same time, if we'd had both of our safeties, or you know, we'd had you know McCoy and had the starters completely, could have definitely changed some things because, like I said, the
Yep.
freshman was getting targeted pretty heavy. But the pressure just wasn't there at the same. But credit to Georgia, that's picking up some pressure and stuff too, and
Yep.
blocking really well. Um, I just and then the penalties, the two things we said, and it just
Yep.
really. I just want to kind of add in there for that pressure. I didn't feel like we had what we normally would,
Mhm.
so that wasn't helping as much either. When like you got freshman cornerback out on an island, and the quarterback's got a little bit of time to set back. So
Yep.
um, overall, I mean, I can't be. I have to be somewhat happy with some things that happen.
Oh
It's
yeah.
just when you lose a close game, when you especially a game that you really have them. How Georgia drove down at the end there and kicked the game-winning field goal, and that's how we lost. That would still hurt, but it's when you drive down the field and you have it in your hands
Yep.
and you have the opportunity to win the game right there. That does hurt. And again, on the kicker, man, he was nervous, obviously. Um, you
Yeah.
know, it's unfortunate. You got to make that kick, and he knows it.
Mhm.
He made the one in overtime from about the same distance, and I'm sure
Right.
he's. I think I even seen something about him not talking about practicing and um, being early and just working on it, and
Yep.
and trying to not let that happen again. But we kind of iced him ourselves. We had the false start penalty, a
Yeah.
penalty that moved us back 5 more yards.
Yep.
In a situation when we definitely didn't want to move back anymore. I mean, we were in a pretty good spot. You add in another 5 yards. We did, and that also like kind of goes to say it didn't center it on the field like we wanted to, because that was
Mhm.
going to be a simple run play to set it in the middle of the field and run the
Yep.
clock down.
Yep.
And that false start penalty just messed all that up. And then, of course, we had timeouts and didn't go for another play there. But at that point,
Yeah.
were we just so afraid we were going to shoot ourselves in the foot even more? I mean, because another 5 yards it was what, a 48-yard field goal then. So that could be my only thought process is like, all right, 7 seconds. Let's not shoot ourselves in the foot any more than we just did.
Yep.
Snap the ball on third down in case something happens.
Right.
You get another kick, fumble the snap, anything like that.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, but I mean,
so I don't know.
and I have that very situation in my notes, and I was going to bring it up. I'm glad you did. That was head scratching for me. And
Yeah,
I get what you're saying, but it's pretty sad when
yeah.
you know you're a heavily penalized team when you purposefully do something to try not to get a penalty. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah,
Um,
you should have faith in your offensive line to run a simple run play in the middle and not jump
yep,
on a false start
yep.
in that
Um,
situation.
and that's one of the things that I do not agree with. And you can talk analytics all you want, and you can support the
Yeah,
decision that Josh Heupel made to go for the field goal on third down. I do not agree with it. I think
yeah,
that like you said, you got 7 seconds left, three timeouts. Yeah, you just got a 5 yard penalty, but at least at the very least, put that thing in the center of the field, man. Run
yeah,
Joey, and that's the play they were going to run. You saw it when the ball was snapped and the flag went up. Joey was just kind of diving, towards the
yeah.
middle of the field, to the center of the ball up.
Middle of the field, center it up.
Just do that one more time. And I'm not saying he would have made the kick because that kid was shook. I mean,
Oh, dude, he was.
his
Was he like?
eyes were this big around, man. He was going to miss it regardless. I feel like I really do think that, but
Yeah,
I just don't like the feeling of that. Almost feels like a cop out to me. That almost
yeah,
feels way too conservative in a game that big.
yeah,
Sometimes you got to do something that makes you uncomfortable. Risky plays win ball games. That's something
yeah,
that I've always said. Risky plays win ball games. There's other instances of that in the game throughout the course of the game.
yeah,
Um, Earlier in the fourth quarter, Josh Heupel kind of played it safe again and ran three straight run plays to kind of settle for a field goal.
yeah,
I felt like that was a pivotal moment in the game where you had an opportunity to get in the end zone and put even more pressure on Georgia to score. Um, that was another missed opportunity, I thought. But I'm not going to sit here and bash Josh Heupel. That was probably one of the most well coached games um, and well executed game plans that I've seen thus far in the Heupel era. And it ranks right up there with the 2022 victory over Alabama. Just the game plan that we came out with was brilliant.
Yeah.
But in the end, I think ultimately, I think we just kind of we played a more disciplined team. I think
Yeah.
Georgia, even though they have all their off the field controversy with players getting
Yeah.
tickets for reckless driving and all this crap, yeah, at the end of the day, man, they're multiple time champions. Kirby Smart is a heavily defensive minded coach that is a brilliant coach, and I just think we got outsmarted a little bit, no pun intended, and
Yeah.
we played a little bit more disciplined team. I really do believe that.
Yeah, man. I mean, I agree. Um, add another positive, something I just kind of thought about while you're talking about the coaching and well coached game. And like, we went up and then we lost the lead and we went that second and third quarter where Georgia was really outscoring us. But it did like we didn't quit. Like last year, kind of got a
Yes.
little bit of a lead, and then Georgia just passed us up and it was done after
Yep.
halftime. And Joey come back out. Even after throwing another interception in that third quarter, I mean, he had a big bomb to the Brazel man, and
Yeah.
again for the second time that game, and um, they came out and they took the lead back, and I
Hmm.
mean, when you think about it, down to how close it was, Georgia had to go for a 4th and 4 late in the game
Yeah.
and go for two to tie
Yep.
that up. So I mean, we definitely didn't quit, and because when they first took the lead, I was a little worried. I'm not gonna
Yep.
lie. When they come back and took that lead in the second half, I was hoping we wouldn't, but I was a little worried that they would lay down, and they didn't. So
And
that's
I
that's
think
encouraging as the season
I
goes.
Yeah, I agree. And I think the reason you got nervous is the same reason I got nervous is because that is our PTSD kicking in
Yeah,
from years past where Tennessee teams always fold, man. Even last year we came out hot against, no,
yeah,
it was, yeah, last year and the year
yeah.
before. We
Against
jumped
Georgia.
out to leads on Georgia both years,
Yeah,
last year and the year before. And what did we do? We folded.
yeah,
This Tennessee team has some fight in them, and it was very impressive to see how the
yeah,
game went back and forth. Because usually, like you said, we start off strong, and then it's a steady
yeah,
decline from there. Um, I know you mentioned Brazel there. I do have some stats on him real quick. Very, very impressive. I think thus far in the season, you and I talked about Chris Brazel before the season started, and we both talked about how it was very important for him to kind of emerge and be that star player on the offensive side of the ball. This guy is looking like he's catapulting himself into a first round draft pick, man. Easily first team all SEC to this point.
yeah.
You're talking 6 receptions, 177 yards, and 3 touchdowns. I mean, that's just
Monster
that.
game, man.
And he's looking like a monster. He's getting open. He's jumping for the ball. He's running the correct routes. He's catching the ball. Last year, he had a lot of
Yeah,
drops. Man, the sky's the ceiling for that kid this year. I can't wait to see how his season progresses. Um, but yeah, man, I think just I keep wanting to look at my notes, but I have a lot of gut feeling stuff that's coming to me. It's like aside from losing the game and our defense, slipping up a little bit. At the end of the day, it's Georgia, but our defense not really looking like we want them to look. Aside from those two negatives, I think the list of positives to take away from this game far outweigh the negatives, man.
yeah,
Looking at the season ahead of us, there were some games that I was very, very, very questionable about going forward because, we didn't really have anything to go off of with playing, Syracuse and ETSU. Seeing our first big real test against an SEC opponent gives me a lot more confidence against, the Oklahomas of the world, the Bamas of the world. Um, uh, Looking at the rest of Tennessee's schedule, man, I mean, I'm hard pressed to see a team that I know that we can't beat.
Yeah.
I, I mean, is that fair to say? I mean, I don't want to sound too cocky or get ahead
Yeah.
of myself here, but you look at the performance that we put against
Yeah.
Georgia, man, and you look at the slate that we have ahead of us, and man, I think we've got a real solid, high percentage shot of beating the rest of our schedule.
No, dude, and I don't think that's being cocky or anything. I think it's realistic. Not saying we're not saying that it's going to happen for sure.
Right.
It's a long season, but based off that, I mean, and how the first couple games were won pretty easily, and like people could have said, well, it's who we played, it's a fluke. But based off that Georgia game, man, being so early in the season like this, I even though we lost, I hope that boosts their confidence because yeah, I think there's not a team on the remaining part of our schedule that we can't beat. I firmly believe that that Georgia game is our most difficult game. I'm, the Oklahoma game and Bama's at Bama, and I think Bama might be a little better than how it looked week one.
Yep.
I
I
will
agree.
say that. I think Florida State's better than everybody thought they were going to be, and Bama's kind of got it, right back around, kind of got their self, back on a roll a little bit these last couple weeks.
Yep.
But and it obviously won't be easy. But yeah, I don't see any reason why Tennessee can't win out.
Hmm.
I will say, in Georgia, and I've seen a lot of things for Georgia's. Oh, it's 9 in a row. Oh, we won again. Like, but a lot of people know, man, they were fortunate to win that game, and I don't think Tennessee's a team Georgia wants to play again. I don't think they
Yep.
want to see them again in the SEC championship,
Yep.
which very well could happen. We don't have an East and West anymore. It could very well be Tennessee and Georgia in that
Yep.
championship because I mean, there's a lot of SEC teams that could make it still. There's some talent, but when you've seen teams like Florida's dropped off, and LSU, man, they're going to mess up, in my opinion, at some point.
Yep.
Um, I mean, Florida threw 5 interceptions, and LSU only beat them by 10.
Yeah.
Um, Not to really roll into all these other games because I know our main focus on this one is for the Tennessee game, but this is kind of relating to all that.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got Texas, dude. I mean, I don't have to say much more other than they looked awful, man. Their defense is great, but they looked awful against who they played, man. So
Is it too early to say that Arch is trash or close to it or just not
I
what everyone
I'll put
thought he
him
was
on
going to be?
this. I'm going to put it on this right now, and you can hear it right here. Potential bust, a high potential bust, in my opinion, right now. I'm not going to call it just yet, but after this weekend, I'm going to say high potential bust, and I'm thinking it. It's definitely
Well,
trending that way. So
speaking of high potential busts, could DJ Lagway for Florida be in that same lot? I mean, 5 interceptions, man.
uh,
5?
I think I think DJ is right there in the passenger seat, or he might be driving. I don't know. The two of them sitting there together in the front, like he's not any more safe in my opinion, man. I mean, they're 1 and 2, and he just threw 5 interceptions, so he's right there with him. Like he might even be driving the vehicle. Who knows? But they're right
Yeah.
there looking like bus, man. Um, so both of them high potential bust, but it kind of just bring like back to what I was like saying about it though is like those would have been the teams you thought for sure would be like in the SEC championship. I thought Texas would for
Yeah.
sure be there. I don't know that Texas is going to be there, man.
Right.
Because their defense is great, but they can only play like that if if Arch Manning comes out and plays against the. If, I don't know if they play Georgia this year. I don't know their schedule, but like Texas A&M, some of these teams. I mean A&M look good. They just beat Notre Dame.
Uh-huh.
Um, they might drop those games. So Tennessee's definitely got a high potential. I would love to see them get to the SEC championship and win it and get to the
Yep.
playoffs. Even if we don't win in the playoffs this year, if Tennessee does that, that will be a very successful year because the SEC
Yes.
championship is something we have not seen in a while. Um,
Yep.
and man, I think we might have just played our toughest opponent. There's going to be tough. Not saying there's not going to be very tough games down the road,
Yep.
and taking it 1 week at a time, obviously. But again, I think we've seen two playoff teams playing
Oh
in
yeah.
Neyland Stadium.
Yeah, without a doubt, man. Without a doubt. and kind of speaking to all those teams that you were talking about, man, no one has got to the tough part of their schedule yet. And we've already
Oh,
seen some chinks. We've already seen some chinks in some of these teams' armor, man. I mean,
yeah,
it's crazy. Um, yes, I do agree with you. I do believe that we have played our toughest game so far this season. There will be other tough games. I mean, let's look at it from a historical standpoint, okay? Tennessee, it doesn't matter how good we are and how bad Florida is. Anytime
yeah.
we take that trip down to the swamp, it's like we get a completely different Florida team than everyone else
Every
gets.
time, man.
So you can't overlook that game. Another game that's kind of popped up on my radar that I'm not going to say worries me, but does kind of raise some attention and like, oh crap, what could happen in this game is Vanderbilt, man. They are shocking everyone right now.
Yeah,
They absolutely obliterated South Carolina. I mean, it just didn't even look good on South Carolina's part. And I think the most impressive thing about that win for Vanderbilt is they were on the road and it was a night game in South Carolina. That's a tough
yeah.
environment.
I know the
Um,
quarterback got hurt, but it was still,
Yeah, it
man,
doesn't matter. It
it's more
doesn't
than that.
matter.
Yeah,
The quarterback don't play defense. I mean,
yeah,
Pavia and Vanderbilt hung 31 on them. I think it was 31-7, I believe.
yeah.
That's just ridiculous. That's just ridiculous. And you could not have uh, swayed my opinion on that. If you would have told me that was going to be the final score, I would have called you a liar because I don't think anyone could have predicted that.
We had them bottom
Um,
barrel, man. I mean,
yeah,
I'm eating my words probably this year because I said there wouldn't be in a bowl game. They make a bowl
they're
game,
three and
I'll eat
zero.
my words, but I just hope they don't beat Tennessee. You know what I'm saying?
They're 3-0. They just knocked off number 11 South Carolina.
Yeah,
The SEC is in such a toss-up this year, unlike we've ever seen it. I'll go out on a limb and say that I don't think
yeah,
we've ever seen the SEC being this big of a toss-up to where your top tier teams, in quotes, they just don't look like top tier teams. It kind of looks like the playing field's been kind of leveled.
yeah,
It really, really and truly, I mean, unless you're Florida, uh,
yeah,
everyone kind of has a shot, man.
yeah. No, you're right, dude. And I mean, there's 11 teams I think in the AP top 25. I know we'll get into that more for Friday's episode, but I
Yep,
am
we'll
glad.
dive into it.
I am glad Tennessee didn't move. They
Yep,
didn't deserve to
it's fair,
drop. I thought we should, I think we've kind of, and I know they weren't going. They couldn't move a team up that lost, but
right?
I think Tennessee is higher than a 15 rank based off that game. I think we're a top 10 team
Yeah,
based off
yep,
that game. But again, I'm glad they didn't drop them because that was they didn't deserve to drop, man.
yep,
Move Georgia up a little bit. Some other teams that like Tennessee didn't deserve dropping any at all. I mean, 15. If you want to leave
yep.
them there, I get you can't move them up for losing, but definitely, I think we look like potential top 10 team. But um,
That's probably the most fairest that Tennessee's been treated in the AP poll
yeah,
in my entire memory.
because I was thinking they're going to drop us down to like 20,
Yep, I
something
was thinking.
dumb, like a couple spots at least, like 18. And when they didn't drop, I was like, that's what I wanted. I literally thought in my head when that game was over, we better not drop,
Yep.
and we didn't. So,
Well, I think, and the performance speaks for itself. I mean, a lot of people hop in our comments, especially on TikTok, and talk about, whatever they want to talk about, how, we're just riding Tennessee, blah, blah. I mean, we are Tennessee fans. We'll just go ahead and put that
yeah,
out there. But, I think the performance that Tennessee gave was so undeniable that, it just it couldn't happen. They couldn't drop us in the AP poll. I think we proved
yeah,
to everyone something on Saturday. And speaking to the AP poll and the rank, man, I think that staying where we were is a good thing. I think it's a positive. Sometimes, and I've seen it happen with teams, and it's happened to Tennessee. When you start climbing that rank and you start looking at it, you're like, oh man, we're number 8, we're number 5, we're number 2, whatever. Sometimes that can get to a team's head, and I'm not
yeah,
saying it would get to Tennessee's head, but I think we still have a lot to prove, and I would much rather us continue to earn that climb as opposed to
Yeah,
just being gifted it off of a good performance.
absolutely, man. And I am kind of like that we're playing still in the underdog spot, and
Yep.
I think they've done well with that. They've used that as some fuel, and yeah, I'm curious to see. We do have a little, um, can't take a game lightly, but the next game, get a little bit of a break from teams. I'm curious to see how we recover and move
Yep.
forward, and I hope I feel like the team will. I think
Mhm.
I think they have that mentality. So
Yep.
um,
Anytime you lose a game the way we did, a team will bounce back better. Good teams get better as the season
yeah,
progresses, week after week. Good teams get better week after week.
right,
It's easier to get your locker room lifted back up and get the team rallied back up after a loss like that. Now, if you would have got crushed by Georgia 30
yeah,
some points, I mean, at that point you start to lose morale, you start to lose players, whatever. But yeah, I mean, excited to see where the season takes
yeah,
us. I think that this was a major milestone. I think in the last episode, I talked about beating Georgia would be a huge milestone in the Josh Heupel era for this program. I, I don't believe in moral victories, and I think Tennessee's way past moral victories, but I think just our performance was a huge milestone in the Josh
yeah.
Heupel era for this program.
I do, man. And I don't know. Kind of hope he gets this. Not that I really want to play them again, but it'd be nice. Be nice if down the road we know he's met him in the SEC championship and he got that win. I would take that over the early season win for sure. But
Yep.
a
I'd
lot of
trade the
football
regular
left.
season loss.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And I know this has been a little different one. People that are watching, our main focus was just on this game, man. It was such a big
Yeah.
game. Um, I've had a lot going on. So we really had to. That's why I'm in a vehicle right now. Recording this thing, but we had to put this out. Make sure to like and subscribe to us. Our Friday episode will be normal. I'll be back in my little home office there, ready to record. But
Yep.
I couldn't let this one go unsaid. We talked about like waiting, and I was like, no, we gotta push this through. And again, hopefully won't have to have many like this, but sometimes you do. You gotta keep it rolling. So,
Yeah.
anything, Adam, man, that you want to add to this one, add to this game? I mean,
No, I've said my piece on the game. The only thing else I want to say is you are an absolute legend and a trooper for doing what you're doing. Lack of sleep, stuff going on in your life
yeah,
at the moment. You're recording a podcast episode in a car in a parking lot. That's legendary.
yeah, appreciate it, man. Got to do what I got to do for this podcast, man. And
Yep,
hey, if you're out there, do what you got to do. Like and subscribe it. You know what I mean? Help
that's
us out a
right.
little bit. Boost
That's
it
right.
for us. We enjoy doing this. We're committed to this. So,
We
um,
are.
no.
Yep,
Uh,
we'll be back with you all Friday for another episode. It'll be the preview episode. UAB's coming to Knoxville to play in Neyland Stadium. Um, we'll give you everything we got on that one.
Absolutely. Hey, man, as always, it's been fun, Adam. Still had a good time even sitting here in my car. So, as always, man, but I'll see you, dude. Go Vols.
Go Vols, baby.